Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Today is kind of mixed. We'll have to see. The US market is looking like it wants to go green, but it could go into red. Bitcoin isn't started out so well, but I do have some important things to show you guys about this very important bottom signal. It has nailed every cycle, and is it applicable this cycle? Let's take a look and take a look at everything else that's going on today. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Unfortunately, we are starting on a day a little bit lower than yesterday, right under $75,000. Are we going to touch upon this 73.8, okay, that we did yesterday? We hit it, broke above. Are we going to see that become a resistance, or are we going to break through that today? Let's take a look. Real quick reminder, which I've pinned to the live chat. I told you guys I'm going to be doing this type of event every single day where you can predict on the peak live viewers, okay, during my morning streams. It's open for 3 more minutes, so check it out if you're interested. All right. Moving forward, let's see. The U.S. market is opening up, like I said, mixed. It could go green, it could go red, or maybe just a little bit of both. S&P and NASDAQ are red, but Dow is really green today. We did get a little bit of economic news, and that is this. The ADP payroll, which measures private hires, decreased, okay? 22,000 for last month, which is far less than the consensus of 45,000. So it does show that the economy is weak. It isn't that strong right now. And in a few days, we're going to get the official unemployment report and the official jobs report from the federal government. So that's coming in 2 days. But this gives you a little preview into what's going on, right? And I think we all knew that already. Okay, the economy is slowing down. We're not in a dire situation, but it ain't that good either. So this could definitely help with the rate cut that's coming up potentially in March. Okay, so we'll see. Outside of this, AMD is down. The revenue isn't doing good. AI recently has been hammered. You know, AI was the best narrative for last year. Now it seems like everyone is turning on AI. Nvidia's not moving. Broadcom's not moving. OpenAI supposedly is not doing well now. I don't know. Behind the scenes, AMD didn't report well. So this new narrative is like, now, like, get away from AI. But I still think it's going to be the future. There's no doubt about it. But maybe things are overinflated, or maybe they're not, and everyone's just panic selling everything right now. Maybe that's all it is, because of all the geopolitical tensions that is happening around the world. And there's a lot more than I think a lot of us realize. Like, just for example, yesterday, the U.S. made a deal with India, and then Trump said, well, India's going to stop buying oil from Russia. Well, Moscow now says, well, India didn't say that, and India didn't come out and officially say that. So is that true or not? No one knows. No one knows what the real story is. Same thing, you know, Venezuela. The U.S. still owns Venezuela, I believe. You know, trying to get all the U.S. oil companies to go drill there. Don't know if that stance have changed, because Exxon CEO said, no, we don't want to go back there. And now Venezuela is telling China oil prices won't be set by the U.S. Is that real or not? Right? We don't know. Again, some of these things weigh on investors' minds. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's one thing that Wall Street investors hate, uncertainty. So a lot of geopolitical stuff still happening. And what happened in Greenland? That's what I want to know. Like, the last few weeks were all about Greenland. And supposedly they had talks. Trump downplayed military use. So are we buying them, or are we not? What happened? You know, it's like, it just kind of like went away. Supposedly we made a deal. Did we? I don't know. See, these are a type of uncertainty items that we need clarity on. You know, that's what people are scared of. And that is why, you know, gold and silver is coming up again. But even with gold and silver, look at it. What is that? You know, that nasty fall scared a lot of people away, right? But usually in times of uncertainty, you see that. But right now, we got this bubble going on with gold and silver that popped last Friday, and now it's coming back up again, right? So what's the deal with that? Should investors trust that? You know, just so much uncertainty everywhere. So much uncertainty. Now, if you look at an ETF inflow, there's a surprise. You would figure yesterday was a pretty bad day. You figured that all of the ETFs would be bad. Bitcoin wasn't great, minus 272, but would have been, I think it would have been worse. But especially compared to the day before, which was like minus 500. But look at this. ETH had a positive inflow day yesterday. That's a huge surprise. Yesterday, ETH fell pretty drastically, and even now, and we had a daily inflow. XRP also had a daily inflow. Solana also had a daily inflow. So surprise. So it goes to show you that sometimes Wall Street is not what's behind the dumping. Okay, they're not the ones dumping. In fact, sometimes they're buying the dip. They realize that it's a good time to buy. So you can't blame them for everything, and they do flip-flop quite a lot. But it's just a surprise that ETH, XRP, Sol ETFs all turned positive yesterday, despite yesterday's sell-off. So think about that. But what about our overall downtrend? Are we going to break out of it? Are we ever going to bounce? What about that bottom? Where is it? There are a lot of very bearish analysts out there. Very, very bearish analysts. There are people that are calling 52,000 by looking at this head and shoulders pattern. Okay, there are people that are just calling 40,000. No reason why, no rhyme or reason. Here's one that's calling, 65,005. There are a lot of very bearish people, okay? Very bearish people, large Bitcoin inflows to Binance. You know, everyone's trying to speculate where Bitcoin is going to go. This happens every single cycle, every single crypto winter, every single catastrophic event that happens. People tend to be, it's the same thing on both sides. The bulls and the bears, they tend to overreach, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. Okay, so I've lived through a lot of crypto winters. Every single time we go through it, there's more predictions that we are going to go lower. The last crypto winter that saw Bitcoin go to 15,000, everyone was calling sub 10,000. People were calling 3,000 again because that was the low of previous crypto winters. A lot of people called below 10,000. But you know what? We held at 15,000 and we recovered. Every single time, the crypto winter before that, when we fell down to 3,000, people were calling sub 1,000 because that's where the previous winter was. So there's always a lot of analysts. They're all speculating. I don't think it's intentional, but a lot of them are just looking at charts and what has happened before. But we know every single cycle is different. And the fundamental of this cycle still arguably is the best and the strongest it's ever been. So as long as that is there, we have no worries that we will find that bottom and recover. Okay. But Saylor has, I would say, the ultimate strategy. Whether you like him anymore or you believe in his new strategy with strategy, he has the ultimate strategy. And what is that ultimate strategy? The rules of Bitcoin. You buy Bitcoin, you don't sell the Bitcoin. that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That ultimate strategy is just to hodl. Okay, you buy and then you hodl. Buy, hodl. Maybe you DCA along the way, but that's what you do because this is the bottom. Okay, if you look at the bottom of every year, this includes crypto winters. And sometimes, yes, we do go in reverse. But over the years, you see what Bitcoin has been doing. And as bad as it seems right now, we are basically tied to the bottom of last year. And we are still, believe it or not, 100% higher than the bottom of 2024. So as bad as it may seem right now, look at the bottoms of some of these previous years, even the bottom of 2023. And I mentioned that 15,000 bottom, right? From 2020 to 2023, we only moved $1,000. Think about it, entire year, we had up and downs. We moved $1,000. Then we doubled in 2024. Then we doubled again in 2025. And now we're in 2026. And we just started the year. Okay? So look at it from the bottom perspective rather than top. And you realize Bitcoin is just doing just dandy. Just dandy. Maybe not the alts, but Bitcoin is doing just fine. And Cathie Wood also believes that. Cathie Wood gave out some predictions years ago, and she's still sticking to it, and thinks that by 2030, which is past the next halving event, that Bitcoin is still, in the best case scenario, going to 1.5 million. She had these three charts. She had this chart with three predictions, like the bear case, like a normal case, and a bull case. The 1.5 million is the bull case. The normal case, the base case, was like 600,000, and the bear case was like 200,000, something like that. But she believes the newer generation will turn more to Bitcoin than gold, and that's the reason why. Because the newer generation is going to be loading up a digital gold rather than physical gold. I still believe that's correct. I mean, if you just talk to any young people, right? Right now, like, there's not a whole lot of young people even investing. But the ones that are, right, a lot of them are in crypto, and none of them are in gold or silver. Like zero. They have absolutely no interest in gold and silver. So, I mean, it's true. The future, obviously, is digital. The future is not going backwards into physical. So it makes a lot of sense. Now, outside of Saylor and Cathie Wood, I mean, you still have other believers. This is part of the fundamentals that I say arguably is better than any previous cycle, because you have large sovereign funds, you have countries and their reserves, you have these reserve companies, and of course you have ETFs. All these things never existed before, and they continue to load up. Maybe not all of them, but they continue to load up. And I don't think that's going to stop. Binance, also due to all the bad press, they're loading up. They're committing $1 billion in their safe fund, and they just bought another 100 million. They bought 100 million the other day. Now they're buying another 100 million. So good for them. And we know Tether is loading up too. And I believe all big crypto companies should load up. Even someone like Ripple, they are loaded. They should be loading up on Bitcoin. No one's going to blame them. No one, even XRP Army is not going to blame them. It's never a bad idea to load up on Bitcoin, to hedge against inflation, to hedge against financial house of cards, right? It's still the greatest store of value, I believe. Despite gold and silver skyrocketing right now. That's temporary. You look at the last 15 years, nothing has outperformed Bitcoin. Not even close. Now, going to this bottom signal, okay, CoinDesk has it, says this on-chain metric has identified the Bitcoin bottom every single cycle. And what is that? It's hard to see. But what this is measuring is the supply and profit and supply and loss. It basically just compares the two. All right. So what's important about this chart is you see when they merge, when they touch, that's the bottom signal. And we are getting very, very close to the point where they are merging. Okay. So we have seen this be very accurate during the previous crypto winters, during that COVID sell-off, and we are right about there. So where does that put us, you know? Don't know. I don't know where it puts us, but we have other signals that show that that could be around, say, 71,000, which is the electricity cost it takes to mine a single Bitcoin. Bitcoin has, according to the chart, never fallen below the electricity cost, electrical cost, which right now is at $71,000, right? So we're not too far off from there. So that could be a bottom. Don't know. And if you look at this, this is the weekly, actually the 2-week RSI. And you could see that Bitcoin basically hasn't hit the same level as the previous crypto winters. We're talking about when Bitcoin fell down to the the first one was like $160, then $3,000, then $15,000. We are as oversold right now as those bottoms, right? So from our level, can we go down a little bit more? Maybe. But we have a lot of metrics and signals and indicators that show that we are at or very near bottom. We'll just have to see. This is comparing Bitcoin to silver. I normally don't see this. You normally see Bitcoin being compared to gold. But you could see this textbook cup and handle. You know, we saw something like this with Bitcoin too. After the last, look at this. I still have it. After the last crypto winter, that was a huge, giant cup and handle, right? And we broke out of there and kept going. Are we going to see something like that again? Maybe if we're breaking out of bottom. We got a lot of signals. No one could tell you exactly the bottom point, like if it's today or tomorrow or Friday of next week. No one could ever tell you that. But when we put all this together, we know we are certainly closer to bottom than we are to top. And with everything that we have, all the tools that we have, studying all the previous patterns that we have, we're very close, if we're not there already. All right, last few things. Tom Lee, feeling the pressure just like Saylor. I mean, obviously they're very public. Tom Lee is known as, you know, the Saylor of Ethereum. And he is defending Bitmine as much as he can. Says he doesn't care about what's going on, even though he is carrying a $6.6 billion unrealized profit, which may be lower today. And he tweets out, these tweets miss the point of an Ethereum treasury. Bitmine is designed to track the price of ETH, outperform the cycle. Crypto is in a downturn, so naturally ETH is down. Bitminer will see unrealized losses on holdings of ETH during these times. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Shall we call out the index ETFs for their losses? Bottom line, Ethereum is the future of finance. He's trying to defend as much as possible, but it's hard to defend when you buy so much ETH and you're down 42% and you're carrying a 6.6 billion loss. However, I'll say this. A lot of people are getting on Saylor for the same reason, because now Bitcoin is below his average buying price. If you look at the last cycle, during 2022, 2023, 2024, he was like that too. His average price was higher than the price of Bitcoin. right? So it's not something new. We have seen it before, and then when things came back up, you look like a genius. But now things aren't looking so rosy again. That's how it was. So he's used to it, but he created this new strategy that he wasn't employing before. He wasn't buying nearly as much in previous years as he did in 2025. So I could see how that changes things a little bit. But Todd Milley's following the same footsteps. So we'll see. We'll see. He's taking a lot of heat recently, a lot of heat. But that's pretty much it. There's not much else going on. I mean, right now we know uncertainty is the name of the game. No one likes it. Investors don't. Wall Street don't. Whales don't. I'm seeing some signs of some whales that are also selling. I mean, no one likes uncertainty. Everyone's guessing. Everyone's speculating. Are things going to get much worse? Or are we at bottom? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, let's do some Q&A. It is really sad to see. I have zero worries about Bitcoin. Zero. Because I know Bitcoin will find its bottom and then flip around and continue. But alts, man. Alts have fallen to 2023, 2022. Some has fallen to like pre-2021 levels. Retail confidence is completely shattered with alts. Sol right now sitting at 94. I mean, that's not a rosy picture. Clash came out when we were around here, like 220s, 230s. Okay, it has gone down 60% since Clash came out. ETH was at almost 5,000. Now it's below 2,200. This is what I worry about. Like, can these projects survive? AVAX is down below $10 from $35, $36. And SUI is down from, they were at like 430 and now they're like 110. So the alts is what I'm worried about. Can these projects survive, right? I think a lot of projects banked on the fact that we were going to have a great 2025. They may have overspent on marketing or initiatives because they were banking on the fact that, like previous years, we were going to have an altcoin season and we were going to blow up. But we didn't. Alts only got weaker as the year moved forward in 2025. So I'm wondering how these companies are handling it. But one thing, that's for sure, is how Clash is very different than all of these. Starting from the beginning of the year, we're holding at 47 million. We've been bouncing between 47 and 50, but from the beginning of the year to now, it has looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, you look at that and then you compare that to this, compare that to this, and compare that to this. We are now like the stable coin of the industry with huge potential. Today, gold and silver is doing good. Tesla also in the green. Tesla is trying to defy Wall Street. Yesterday, it ended up squeaked in a green. Today, it may squeak in a green. And I mention this because we do have a lot of daily events that are on Clash Picks now. We added this button here, this yellow button, a clock button. It will sort by ending soonest. Okay, and we have a lot of events open for you guys that you can use with P-Clash, which is free. Like, will Tesla close green or red? Will the S&P close green, red? Gold and silver, will they close green and red, and we even have one for Ethereum. These are all ending in about 2 hours. So we want to close them early before the end of day. But these are available among other things that we have on Clash Picks. And people love it. We get more users every day, more volume every day. And this is why Clash is holding so strong. And we're adding new features every single day. But for those of you guys that want to make some predictions, feel free to jump on the site and do so. ClashPicks.com. Easy name. Easy name. Doesn't get easier than that. Let's see. JL Molly sent a super chat. Hey, George, I believe in Clash, and so much so I traded all my pump and most of my soul for Clash. Couldn't be happier. I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, usually with a new project, you would say, well, you know, I sell the new projects and buy the old projects, right? The big caps, Bitcoin. And 99.9% of the time, that ends up being a good decision. With the exception that 0.1% is Clash. People that have converted their soul to Clash or converted all their other memes to Clash have done very well since the beginning of the year. It has not only held, but has actually gone up since the beginning of the year. So normally speaking, with any other project, I can't say that at all. We have a lot that came out recently. Remember Monad that came out? A lot of people were like asking me about it. That has fallen crazily since its launch. And I don't know if there's any other one that came out recently. But none of them hold. None of them has really a community or people that believe in what they are doing. And a lot of them are heavily manipulated upon launch. But not Clash. We're doing things the right way. We've always done things the right way, and now we have a product that arguably is one of the best in the industry. How fast do you think the Fed is going to cut rates once we get rid of Jerome? There's no guarantee of that, Tony. Just so you know. There's really no way to get rid of him. If he chooses to stay as a governor for the next 2 years, he has the right to do so. That's actually something that's baked into his contract. Even if he steps down his chair, he could stay as a governor to still cast his vote. So looking at the next one right now, we only have a 10% chance of a cut. That's even with today's job data that came in worse than expected. So on Friday, we're going to get a bigger one. If we see unemployment start ticking up in a big way, then that's going to sway things into cutting. But as of right now, even March 18, which is next month, it's amazing, by the way, it's February. I still think it's January. Yeah, right now it's not looking good for another rate cut. Oh, we just briefly went below this. We did that yesterday and came back up. Are we going to see the same thing today? I really hope that 73.8 could hold, because that's been a resistance / support for Bitcoin for a long time. Going all the way back here, April 25, that's where we fell down to. I'm hoping we could hold that. If we can't, then probably the next step is around 66, 65,000. But again, if you're looking at, like, here's a daily indicator on the bottom, daily RSI, we are really oversold. And some of these bottom signals I showed you guys indicate that we're right there. We're either there or very close. It's anyone's guess right now. Podcasting 101 says, George, it's all about liquidity, like what you're saying. It is. It is. We need liquidity, right? That's what the cuts are for. people might not understand, like, oh, just because we got a cut to the Fed fund rate, how does that change it? It's all about liquidity. When the rates go down, because there's a trickle effect, when the rates goes down, the money starts flowing. Businesses and banks can borrow. Banks borrow from the Fed, okay, and businesses borrow from banks. And people borrow from banks. So when the rates go down, people start borrowing. And that's how the money starts flowing, right? That's usually how it works. And the lower the rates, the more borrowing, the more liquidity. And if people are borrowing or businesses are borrowing, then that means there's going to be more spending, and it could lead to profits and so forth. So, but when rates are high, no one really wants to borrow. Things are tight. Credit is tight. And you don't see a lot of momentum. And on top of that, there's other things too. But it's all about liquidity, right? Sometimes the government has to come in and bail companies out by buying their junk bonds. Sometimes they give out stimulus checks. There's other things that governments can do sometimes. But primarily, it's just all driven by rates, really. As far as I know, maybe there's smarter people that can chime in and tell me otherwise, but really it's just all revolves around rates. And rates also affect, sort of, like the bonds. That's how we borrow money, right? And obviously currency valuation versus other currencies play into it with trade. So having a weaker dollar actually gets more investments in, right? But weaker dollar also have other consequences too. So, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that it's a complex system, but it's a flawed system. But where's that chart I was showing you guys? There was a tweet. This one right here. When you measure things from yearly lows, they don't look that bad. When you measure from yearly highs, they're much worse, right? But if you look at this, I think most people forget, and even me, this reminded me that in 2024, which was only a year and a half ago, let's say, the low of 2024 was 38,000. So we're still double of that. We're still 100% over. And that's 100% over the low of 2023. Right? So we're right about the low of 2025. And you could argue, okay, we wasted a whole year. The year just started. This could be the low of this year. Wherever we're going to drop to could be the low of this year, and we recover and climb up. Most likely, that's the scenario. But if you look at it this way from Bitcoin, it doesn't look all that bad. In fact, it doesn't look bad at all. Now, if you look at this for ETH or SOL or XRP, it's a different story. But this is the reason why I've always said, don't ignore Bitcoin. Don't, what the young people like to say, don't fade Bitcoin. Have a large percentage of your portfolio in Bitcoin to protect against downturns, volatility, so forth. Alpha Q. Do you think the release of Epstein files and that he was one of the founding funding members of Bitcoin affected Bitcoin's price? I don't know. I actually don't know what to believe out of things that are leaked because there are some pretty damning stuff. A lot of stuff has come out. Don't know. Some of it is fake on X. Some of the things that have been swirling around has been doctored or AI. So it's really hard to know who is telling the truth, what's real and what's not. But what I do know is this. The white paper and Bitcoin came out way before any of those emails or documents started talking about it. So I don't think he has anything to do with Bitcoin. They may have talked about it because it was already kind of like it was getting popular, you know? But I don't believe that's anything to do with the beginnings of it. I just realized this World of Statistics has a Kalshi icon next to it. Are they sponsored by Kalshi? I don't see any posts by Kalshi. I don't know why they put a Kalshi logo there. Anyways, maybe they're sponsored by them. I don't know. We need a ClashPix logo. We do. We do. We need more partnerships, and that's what we're working on. We go partner up with a lot more, like Solana projects or wallets, like Phantom should be using ClashPix. Solana should be highlighting ClashPix. I mean, hell, even Pump.Fund should. We're the most legit project to come out of there in years. Yet they still fade us for some reason. They should be highlighting us, what their platform could be used for, like a legit project that you could build around, right? And they refuse to do so. I still don't get that. I still don't get why Pump.Fund fades Clash and tries to like hype up all the other rugs that people do on that platform. Like when I tell people that we launch on Pump, their first thought is, oh my God, you know, it's probably crashed to zero, or it's not sustainable. I can't tell you how many people I talked to. When they asked that, they thought the project was going to die. And now they're in disbelief that we actually done it, and they're impressed, right? Like, this is the reputation of Pump.Fund. But no one from that team, including the founders, wants to recognize us. It makes no sense whatsoever. Anyways. But yeah, we want to do more partnerships, for sure. I really want to know why World of Statistics has this Kalshi icon next to them. And I don't even know how you get a little icon on X. I really don't. I gotta figure that out. Because they make money on rugs, not holders. I think there's truth to that. Because they just want to promote new people jumping in new projects and get the fees, and then they don't care. And then they want to keep cycling that. Yeah, but you know, you got to improve your reputation. You got to showcase some of the good projects. Otherwise, no one is going to build on it anymore. Add referrals and make Clash blow up, said ChatGPT. You know what? I'm glad you asked, because we do have referrals. We have an affiliate program on the bottom there. If I could ever scroll to it, we have endless things, but let's connect my wallet and then I can show you guys. Good thing my wallet is not showing on screen. If you go in menu, you can invite friends, right? So you have to verify your wallet first by connecting your Discord. But once you do, we have an affiliate program. And every person that you refer to Clash, you get an additional 10 P-Clash per week. And every week, you could claim your P-Clash like this. You just claim P-Clash. You get 100 for free every single week. It resets on Monday. But if you do hold Clash or NFTs, or you refer people, or you get people to follow you on the platform, you get additional P-Clash. And that's it. You claim, boom. You get it, and now you can start making predictions. That's it. We're the only prediction platform that gives out a free virtual currency for you to start playing around with right away. No one else does this. No one else does this. We are very different in many ways. We added this ending soon button now, so you could see all the things that are ending very, very soon for people that love to degen at the last second. But we got a ton of sports around the Super Bowl, around UFC, basketball, you name it, tennis, soccer for Europeans. We got everything on here. Finance, crypto, got a whole team building, assembling. We got a leaderboard, so even though you guys may be playing with P Clash, you get real rewards. Look at this, the prize pool. The top 5 people of every week share in a portion of the fees that we collect in Clash. Last week we gave out 452, this week projected 200, and that will rise until the end of the week. So even though you're playing with P Clash, you're predicting with P Clash, you're winning real rewards that have real value. Again, no one else is doing that. It's good stuff, guys. Good stuff. This is all I spend my time on every single day. Besides maybe playing a little Clash Royale between here and there, is working on Clash and Clash picks. And we have a pro tournament tonight at 6 p.m. If you want to watch some pros play, please come and join us on my other channel. George Plays Clash Royale. It's in the description. And you could win some soul just by spectating. Do I have pro wrestling bets? You mean WWE? People have asked that. I don't know how many people actually watch WWE. If a large amount of you say that you watch WWE and you can make predictions on WWE, then I would do it. If that's what you mean by pro. Because I think all other wrestling is considered amateur, even though they're not scripted. Man, a large number of you guys are saying that you do watch WWE. I mean, almost everyone in college or growing up, you know, when I was in college, people loved WWE when it was still called WWF. But if people love WWE, we'll try to figure it out. We'll try to figure out how to make it work. How do you win soul just by watching? Well, I'm glad you asked. You go to our Clash website, which George Plays Clash Royale. You create an account, okay? And you can spectate. So once you create an account, this is what it looks like. You go under tournaments and you'll see all the upcoming tournaments. And today you could see a pro tournament coming up in about 9 hours. And 5 people that are spectating will win 0.2 soul just by watching. This spectate, that says spectate close right now, like about 10 minutes before we start the tournament, and once I start, you know, live streaming, I will open this up and you will just click spectate. And at the end of the tournament, which is in only 1 hour, I will do a random draw for 5 people to win 0.2 soul. And you could do this with all the tournaments. You could do it with the expert tournament that's coming up on Friday. You could do that with the amateur tournament, or even play an amateur tournament in 9 days. All of it is in your account. All you have to do is create an account on our website. It's very, very good. You can see a tournament calendar in here. I usually populate them for 2 weeks ahead of time. And if you do decide to play, then, you know, put your soul wallet and then your Clash player tag, and that's it. It'll detect your skill level. You could self-choose everything. All your winnings go directly in your wallet. You could see, if you do play, you could see all your previous battles, everything, like what you used, what they used. You get notified on any winnings, you know, like for example, at 1.9 here, 2.76 soul here. I mean, everything. And you can refer people to our tournaments as well. It's a very, very, very good tournament platform. We spent a long time perfecting. We have probably the best Clash Royale platform ever created for tournaments. Probably even better than what Supercell has. That's how good it is. So, spectate today. Come and join. Come and join us. Spectate. The pros playing, I commentate. We all have a good time. And you can win some soul also. See, people do like pro wrestling. Okay, I'm going to do a poll right now because it seems like it's mixed. Do you like WWE? Yes, no. All right. Polls up. Do you like WWE? Let's see. The very random poll has nothing to do with crypto, but it will determine whether or not we start creating WWE events on Clash Picks. Fabio asked, do you think it's a good level to buy more SOL? I mean, it really depends on where Bitcoin heads to, okay? A lot of signs and signals show that Bitcoin's near or at bottom. And if that's the case, then that means it's good to buy something like SOL. But if Bitcoin does slide further, then SOL will. I mean, right now, SOL is sliding faster than Bitcoin, obviously. But DCA, you never lose. Just do small increments. Don't go all in. Out of the 142 votes right now, 39% says yes. That's a crazy number. I expected 10% yes and like 90% no. We're at like 40-60 right now. I hope you guys are not trolling. Like, vote for real. If you really do like WWE, then vote yes. Don't vote yes because you think you're trolling or you think you're being funny. But like right now, it's crazy that it's like 40-60 right now. %37% is 63%. That's a crazy result, I guess. Yeah, it's still staying there. 216 votes, 36% to 64%. We need to figure out how to integrate WWE, it seems like. Does Polymarket have WWE? That's what I want to know. If they don't, and it's a niche that we can grab, then that would be great. Let's see. WWE. No, this is the only things that they have around WWE. And they're all low volume. What about just wrestling in general? Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing. Polymarket has nothing about WWE or wrestling. Maybe that is something we need to concentrate on because no one else has it. Or there's nothing. I mean, I guess like around a big event like WrestleMania would make sense, right? But like normal day to day, I don't know what you would, how you would make, you know, prediction events around it. Like whenever they have Raw or something, like you do one every single time, every single week. It's crazy. 256 votes and 37% yes and 63% no. Do you guys really love WWE that much? Like, I hope you guys are being honest because I really don't believe that many people watch wrestling, pro wrestling. Yeah, it's totally scripted, but it's like soap opera for men, basically. I get the appeal. When I was following it before when I was younger, I get the appeal. We all know it's scripted, but doesn't mean that it's not entertaining. That's for sure. But like I figured now, most of you guys are like my age. 30s, 40s, 50s, 60. I figure now you guys have grown out of wrestling, but maybe not. Josh, I don't know. I don't know if you should fade what the audience wants. We have a 35% yes right now. I think we may have to talk about this afterwards. Yeah, UFC, there's a ton of stuff around UFC. People love UFC, but they're the same company now, right? UFC bought WWE, so there's a lot of intermingling, I would think. I don't know. You guys tell me. I mean, they merged, so I figured there would be a lot of, some of the hype around, I don't know. I don't know if there has been more mingling, right? Like maybe some of the stuff they do in wrestling in terms of promotions and stuff like that, the drama, maybe they build that more into UFC now. I don't know. I really haven't been following. I mean, I really figured this poll would be like 10% or 5% for yes and 90 or 95% say no, but we're at 35% to 65%. I'm just going to end the poll, but I don't know, man. That seems very, very, very high. Very high. But anyways, time to check out. Guys, go on Clash Picks. Utilize your P Clash. Claim it for free. Make some predictions. Let me know. I'm in the Discord all the time. Let me know what you think. If there's any new features or add-ons or anything that you'd like to see. Maybe WWE is what we're going to pursue next. But yeah, outside of that, the market sucks. I know that. We're all waiting for a bottom. Most of you guys are remaining hopeful and strong. That's why you're here. You know we will turn around, right? You just don't know when. That's the $1 million question. But a lot of signs and signals and metrics show that we're near it. We're either at it or we're right there. So stay strong, my friends. And I'll see you guys tonight. Hey, go to my other channel tonight, 6 p.m. And then spectate on some of the tournament play. You can win some soul. Okay? Why not? Why not? Just go to georgeplaysclashroyale.com and create an account. You have to create an account, though. It's all in the description of this video. All right. Have a good one, guys. Take care.